everyone. Welcome to tonight's edition of Hard Copy, the program where we bring you the people behind the news. I'm Maokbe Ogun. Governor TANKO Al-Makura of Nasarawa State came to limelight as one of the few men to ever defeat an incumbent governor. Most people said his victory was a protest vote against the then sitting governor, Mr. Aliyu Doma. However, a re-election in 2015 seemed to reaffirm the people's endorsement of his first-term performance. Will he confirm their hopes in him, or will he dash them, as some governors are accused of doing in their second term in office? He's our guest tonight on Hard Copy and will answer questions on how far he's been able to deliver on his manifesto. Your Excellency, Governor TANKO Al-Makura, you're welcome to Hard Copy.
Oh, thank you very much.
Please sit down, sir.
You're welcome.
Well, the first challenge you must have faced after your re-election as governor of Nasarawa State must have been paucity of funds. But you were coming in for a second term, so you must have seen it coming. Or did you not see it coming?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be at this very popular program, and I'm also very happy about the question you have asked relating to the challenges I faced when I came on a second term, given the situation already getting out of hand economically. You see, by the time I came on board during my second term, my roadmap was already clear because some of the programs, some of the projects, some of my vision were already coming into fruition. And all I needed was some little funds to sustain them and to promote them. But unfortunately, when we came on board, there was, even before the election, one could see signs of recession already showing in the horizon. And by the time we came, after being sworn in, we discovered that the problems was more pronounced by the day. So the approach I took at that point in time to manage the situation was to guide myself on doing those things that I have already promised the people and are already in the pipeline. Secondly, to ensure that I strengthen the mechanism for accountability and prudence to be able to utilize the little resources that accrued to the state at that point in time to be able to execute some of the most critical projects.
But that did not come without its own challenges. I mean, because we saw at some point that workers were protesting in the state. They did not like the fact that you were paying them their salaries in percentages. What is now the current state of the truce between the government and the workers in Nasarawa State? Oh,
thank you very much for this question. It's been an issue that has been so badly misunderstood because I know a lot of people were just speculating the issues. You see, when I came, even in my first time, I was one of the first governors to implement the minimum wage. Even with the problem of paucity of funds accruing from the Federation account. I'm sure you are aware that Nasarawa State is one of the two states that received the lowest allocation. But notwithstanding that, I was able, through prudence, accountability, and focus, to be able to implement the minimum wage right from August 2011 up to when I came on second time. Now, by the time I came, what brought about the situation was there had been states that were not being able to pay salaries, and I felt that I have already made my mark in terms of support for the workers, and it would be not good for my position to not to pay them. So I call the workers and tell them that we are having problems paying salaries in full. What about tinkering with the quantum of amount that goes to every worker? More so that the minimum wage we implemented across the board from level 1 to level 16. And what that translated into was every worker who was receiving, for instance, 6,000 received about 18,000, which was 3 times. And we applied that formula across the board. So the director, who was receiving 68,000, ended up receiving about 210,000. So I said, look, let's try and see how we can adjust your salaries so that we'll be able to pay us at when due. And even at that, we'll be able to pay even much more than a number of states that have not been able to key into the minimum wage.
So would you say that you did not give it too much thought when you decided to implement the minimum wage initially?
No, we did. We did, but because of our passion for workers and our intention to ensure that we keep them motivated to deliver their best for the government, we felt we can bend backwards to pay their minimum wage. Because after all, what is it? The problem with the implementation of minimum wage is not necessarily the amount paid to the workers, but the misdemeanor of getting some workers being put in the payroll that made the salaries much more than what is real.
So what is the state of the truce now? Are you and your workers settled in the state?
You see, when the imbroglio between us and Labour came middle of last year, we eventually had an intervention of the Federal Minister of Labour, and where we had this tripartite collective bargaining agreement. We did not reduce the salaries of our workers at all. What we did was to say, okay, if you don't want to adjust, then you should allow us pay you what we get. And mistakenly before, we were taking all the accruals to the state and paying as salaries, even including VAT, that was supposed to be dedicated for, capital projects. So I said, no problem. There's no qualms about paying you what you deserve, but we must adhere to the constitutional provision of using the VAT for capital project. Whatever we get as state allocation, we'll be able to pay you in your recurrent. So this is the situation in which we are, and we are paying exactly what comes to us. But whether that meets the minimum wage for the senior workers is a different thing. But one thing we keep as sacrosanct is to obey the law of the minimum wage. No worker at all in Nasarawa State receives less than 18,000 a month.